The USC College of Engineering and Computing is not just a building next to a rundown student apartment complex. It's also home to some cool antiques like old clocks, spinning machinery, more clocks, and whatever this thing is. But just like an RCA video game, these devices are in the past. However, at Adventure's Children's Museum, the future is here. The museum has a MakerBot 3D printer. A 3D printer goes by its name. It's a printer that makes 3D objects, and it's used here at the Children's Museum.
My name's Jay Robinson. I'm the Museum Experience Manager at Adventure Children's Museum, and I'm also the lead maker person for the museum.
In very basic terms, the 3D printer seen here prints objects layer by layer and uses a corn-based plastic.
We put this in the back of our 3D printer, and this really comes out and goes into what we call an extruder. And the extruder just reminds me of a hot glue gun. And so this is warming this plastic up, drips it down, and creates that pattern. And as it continues to build upon layer, you'll get that object that you're looking for. I think what's really unique about the PLA is it cools very quickly. So you're able to make things like a chain link. And that's hard concept to imagine, that you would be able to print something that it would be able to be loose once you printed it.
But what do kids, who are usually accustomed to using scissors and glue for arts and crafts, think about the 3D printing process?
Oh, they absolutely adore it. In just the 45 minutes I've been sitting here, I've had so many kids come in and they've heard about 3D printing. They don't quite get the concept until they actually see it in action. And once they see that it's just really dropping these layers and drawing a pattern over and over, they can see the three-dimensionality of what it is. So kids love it.
However, 3D printing is not just used for fun and games. It has some other purposes too. Although I joked earlier about USC's vintage clocks, the engineering school has a 3D printer as well, and it's worth more than $150,000. According to USC professor David Rushlow, 3D printing can be used to make prototypes, such as parts of an engine, which is cost-efficient for manufacturers. He also says 3D printing will be very important in the years to come.
It's not only here to stay, it's going to play, and is starting to play, a very large role in our lives.
Whether it be in the classroom or the playroom, 3D printing is just getting started. Jeremy Urso, Carolina News. Most people's typical Tuesday evening consists of coming back from class, eating dinner with friends on the Russell House patio, and heading to Thomas Cooper Library to study for exams. But most people don't spend their time in a room adorned with skeletons, bats, and bloody handprints in a small studio called WUSC.
Well, my name is Alec Edelson, and I do Metalcock Radio on WSC as DJ Edelstork.
But this isn't the type of station where you're going to hear the latest Top 40 music.
Welcome back, Columbia. That was Destroyer of Light with Battlefield Girth.
But why heavy metal? Why not jazz or hip-hop?
There's something about metal that's just liberating. It opened me up socially. I developed my own kind of personality around it.
For Alec, there's more to heavy metal than just listening to the music.
If you go up to someone and said, "Hey, I really like your set. I played you guys on the radio," that's a whole different kind of appreciation, and I've made a lot of friends just by doing that. I'm a firm believer that every person has at least one metal band that they can get into, whether they know about it yet or not. I could find it, but it's not for everybody. But I think it has something to offer for everybody.
Jeremy Urso signing off, and Alec, but in his heavy metal fashion.
This interview is over.
Despite a beautiful Sunday afternoon, the Horseshoe is empty. When the students aren't tripping on the old brick sidewalks and the Horseshoe is undisturbed, nature sings. However, one student doesn't hide from the ambience of the Horseshoe. He embraces it and makes some music of his own.
My name is Brian Kinsey. I am a junior music composition major. So the composition component is the writing of music. Basically, it's coming with the idea of what you want to write, both what kind of ideas in terms of notes, but also what kind of instrumentation you want to use and kind of getting that all down on the page.
But why exactly did this aspiring composer come to the Horseshoe to study?
Because the weather's nice. No, it's just been cold these past couple weeks and the weather was a nice day, so I figured I'd take the opportunity and take advantage of it while I was around. Because, it hasn't happened in a while, probably won't happen again, so it's a nice day.
Although the weather is nice, that doesn't make composing music an easy task.
It's definitely challenging in lots of regards, just because to a certain degree, while you are relying on past conventions and rules to a certain degree, it is very subjective in a lot of ways. And so it is a lot on you to be able to come up with ideas. So that's challenging, but it's also fun at the same time.
And with some hard work, his ability to become a composer has no limits.